Subhanallah walhamdulillah wa la ilaha illallah.
Of course, Assalamualaikum guys, my name's Paris. I've been Muslim for 6 years now, almost the same amount of time as Tanella, as we just found out.
Yes.
And I currently am studying law and working with the police, alhamdulillah.
Oh wow,
So, yeah. Very
That's
fun.
awesome. What's your role with the police at the moment?
It's an administration role, but
Okay, cool.
hopefully if I graduate,
Yeah.
inshallah, then
Inshallah.
progress into a kind of different role that more
Yeah,
focused on
yeah,
legislation.
So I guess we'll just rewind it all the way back to
All the
6
way
years
back.
ago. Or even maybe a bit further, because you might have a bit more of a journey that you'd like to share.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, what was it that, what was the first thing that introduced you to Islam?
The first thing that introduced me to Islam. So I guess going back even before converting to Islam in 2016, all throughout high school I was involved within the Uniting Church and preaching, and I was actually meant to go into ministry 1 year after, in the year that I converted to Islam. I was meant to go into ministry school with a scholarship and become an ordained minister. But as I started to do my research into Christian theology deeper and deeper, I started finding a lot of holes within it and asking a lot of questions you may have done yourself, and a lot of contradictions within the theology, and things that don't add up. And for a while there, I just didn't know what the world was or why I was here. And then alhamdulillah, I had some friends who were Muslim, and they introduced me to their sisters, and I started learning Islam through their family, alhamdulillah.
Wow,
and started seeing, because Islam is an Abrahamic faith as well, as same as Christianity. And I had never really seen the similarities before. And once those similarities started being opened up to me, and I started seeing the similarities between, Jesus alayhi salam and all of this, it was a shock to me, and that's kind of how it started. That's how that journey began.
Yeah, wow. Was there something about Islam in particular that drew you to it, other than, I don't know, is there something that you really, really found beautiful or just different to the Christian faith?
Yeah, definitely. But it wasn't one thing that I went, wow, I'm going to convert to Islam now, change my life. It was a lot of small things that helped me to realize that, wow, this is actually the truth.
Yeah.
And it came from small things. I think starting with Christianity, reading more into Christianity and seeing in the Old Testament, women are actually meant to cover their hair when they pray, and then starting to implement that myself, and then seeing how the other Christians are like, no, people just did that because that was a cultural norm at the time. Yeah. And also looking further into the way that we're supposed to pray as Christians as well. Yeah. And just being around the Muslim family that I was introduced to, and just seeing their mannerisms and the way that they implemented Islam into their life, it just became more apparent that Islam was the truth.
Yeah, wow. Mashallah, that's really beautiful.
Thank you.
So how long of a process do you think it was? Was it a long process learning about Islam, or was it, like you said, you learnt things as you went along, and being exposed to this family? Was it a really long process of a few months, or was it a year? Yeah,
I would say it was over the period of almost a year. But being a teenager as you are, you're quite impulsive with your decisions. You're like, I'm being Muslim, that's it. Tomorrow, khalas, I'm putting hijab on. But
How old were you?
I had just turned 18.
Wow, quite young.
Quite young.
I think I became Muslim in 2016, but I was about 22, 23.
Yeah, a little bit older.
A little bit older. Yeah. Yeah. As a revert, it can be quite difficult, you know, making that transition.
Definitely.
Was it a long journey for you when you decided to wear the headscarf? I know you said that you wanted to do everything ASAP.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was one of my faults, that I think I rushed into things very, very quickly. I was like, no, khalas, I've done my shahada. Yeah. I'm going to put hijab on. I'm eating halal, and that's how it is.
I think it can be very exciting as well, though.
It is.
You're learning all these new things, right? Like, I mean, you'd already learned things previously through your religion, but you want to do right. And you want to do everything correct. So you just look at everything and go, I'm going to do this right now. But I'm sure that you seem obviously quite strong.
And yourself as well. I know you've been through your fair share of hardships as well.
I mean, it is always difficult. Change is always difficult, especially for family.
Exactly.
Was it quite difficult for you when you decided to become Muslim?
Yeah, of course. I think anyone who decides to change their life to that factor, definitely. There are a lot of difficulties and a lot of complications along the way, but alhamdulillah, it's getting better now.
Inshallah, it only gets better.
Because when they start seeing a physical difference in their daughter, it really starts to get parents upset sometimes. They really start to see, oh wow, it's a shock, you know, our daughter is taking this seriously and she is changing with her decision. But,
wow. I definitely agree. I mean, as the years go on, it slightly gets better, but there's always those tricky things that happen that you kind of have to brush up on that with them and just discuss it with them. I mean, it's always a work in progress, but
that's why I would definitely recommend for someone who is converting, you need to really open those lines of communication with your parents and with your family, and you need to explain to them, you know, from a very basic beginner level of what Islam is. And if they're Christian, I would definitely suggest opening with the comparisons between this is what Christianity is, this is what Islam is, and you really, really need to take your time. Because, you know, it's not a good thing to break those family bonds, especially if you I guess the advice we would give is don't rush it. You can take your time with this, because when you first take your shahada, you almost feel a strong conviction that you need to quickly change your life, and you need to learn to pray quickly. You need to put scarf on. You need to change the way that you are, and you know, it's not like you're just changing one thing. You're changing everything about yourself. You're not just changing a label, or I'm Christian and now I'm Muslim. You change everything about yourself to your inner core, you know, 100%. Your moral compass changes, your identity changes, the way you perceive life. Because there is no easy transition when it comes to, if you're at that step that you want to put headscarf on, there is no 1, 2, 3 step. It is a very hard transition and very quick one as well.
A lot of explanation you need to do to people, because they always want to ask. You know?
So definitely, you do need to have a lot of confidence in your decision and know why you're wearing your hijab, why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed it, what Rasulullah has said about it. You know?
I agree.
And at the end of the day, if you have peace in your heart about the decision and you understand why, then you'll be able to articulate that to people who do ask.
That's a beautiful way of putting it. I agree.
Because, you know, at the end of the day, I feel like whether you're revert or not, whether you've taken shahada or not, you know, at the end of the day, you do have to pick Islam for yourself, whether you're Muslim or not.
100%.
At some point in your life, you can't just be Muslim because your parents are
Yeah.
Muslim. At some point, you are going to lead your own life independently,
Yeah.
and that has to be a choice that you take.
100%. It's all about conscious decision making, right?
Yes.
But do you have any other pieces of advice that you would like to give anyone who's looking to become Muslim, other than take it relatively slow?
Take it step by step.
Step by step, yeah. Well, don't overburden yourself, right? Like,
exactly.
we always want to do the best of everything. We want to do, like, you know, everything so quickly, and it's important to pace ourselves, but also important that once you believe in Allah and the Prophet ﷺ as his messenger, then you just take that step, and everything else slow process after that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Alhamdulillah. But yeah, definitely, as you're saying before, like, and in order to have confidence in our decisions, and when we speak to people about Islam and the reason why we've converted, it's all about having that knowledge at the end of the day, making sure we're doing our research into our deen, you know, reading hadith for ourselves, reading Quran with tafsir, and understanding what our religion is and what it says.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. And speaking with scholars and getting those questions answered.
Yeah, yeah. Anything that you have, you just find out the answer so that you have
Very
peace
true.
within yourself. Yeah.
Very true.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing your story with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it. And thank you so much, and we hope that it's beneficial and that, you know, you take something away from our meeting today. Assalamu alaikum.